Now from Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Hello and welcome into ANF Plus Sports Tonight. I am Ellie Parker here with Connor Hines, who's probably pretty happy about something we'll get to from last night.
You know what? Today's a better day for me than a lot of people around here. We'll leave it at that, Ellie.
But first, we had a lot to talk about before we get to that.
That we do.
I did not realize that this game was this early this week. The Falcons are on Thursday Night Football and hosting the Buccaneers at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
How about that? Third primetime game already for the Falcons. It's a
In a
primetime
row.
game.
In a row.
It's a primetime game for a reason, Ellie. I mean, we are going to get another close game. Every game up to this point decided by one possession for the Falcons, going back to Sunday afternoon's game against New Orleans. Probably a game that Atlanta shouldn't have won, but
they won it anyway.
Found a way on the game-winning field goal from Younghoe Koo. Are we going to get a comfortable win for the Falcons? I don't think tonight's the night, Ellie. I don't think tonight's the night.
Comfortable wins don't make me laugh too much.
I do not think tonight's the night. Tampa
Younghoe
off to a
Koo
3-1 start, so.
Better get that kick and leg going. He's gonna need it. The team's gonna need it.
He was busy on Sunday.
All right, let's hear from head coach Raheem Morris. He spoke at a press conference today in Flowery Branch before the game.
Was J.D. Bertrand ready to go, or do you, as you kind of thin there at linebacker?
Yeah, I told you I was really confident. I told you I was really confident in J.D. a long time ago, right? And it's just his opportunity to go out there and get ready to go play alongside, Caden. And I feel really good about what he's done. I feel really good about his progress. I feel really good about what he did in the preseason. I know that's your favorite time of the year. And then we had a chance to get him out there and go with some of our guys, get ramped up in special teams, the proving ground for us. And now we get a chance to get him out there, get some live bullets, man. I'm fired up to see him.
What's the biggest challenge that someone like JD is going to have around there taking some of their first significant reps?
I don't know. He's such an adult and a mature human being, such a mature young man. He takes care of himself. He's one of the guys you would kind of say if it was a rookie, you worry about him in a short week, but he's just not like that. He takes care of his body. He's always conscientious of what he needs to do. He's always conscientious in his book and his study habits, the thing that he does with his position coach, the thing that he does with his coordinator. He's been in the mix so much. I'm not saying I don't have any concerns with him, but I got very few or very limited that don't really come to mind when you ask that question right now.
The key for any backup is to prepare like they're a starter, and JD's been doing that since the very beginning. What have you noticed about his preparation just when it comes to that aspect of it?
The best thing I've noticed is it hadn't been a real change, right? Because he's been preparing that way since he's been here. When he was the fourth linebacker and we had all our guys, he was acting like he was a starter and preparing like he was a starter. He was taking a lot of reps, and this week he got a bunch of reps, and I got a feeling he's going to go out there and play really well.
Coach, touch on your respect and relationship with Todd Bowles going back.
Todd's going back. We're going back for a long time. And Todd and I both are from New Jersey. Obviously, you guys know we were coached by the same high school coach, and Donnie Soma. And Todd's a little bit older than me. He's a lot older than me. Who am I kidding? But I got so much respect for him and always have because of the lineage and the people that's come before you. You kind of know about and you talk about those guys. Todd's playing career and then even his coaching career. My young coaching career was first starting at Hofstra when he was coaching for the Jets, which was on the same campus. So I was able to go across as a young player, young coach, and really learn from Todd when he was coaching that secondary out there with that legendary group that he was with. And I was out there watching him coach those guys, whether it was Aaron Glenn and Ray Macon and some of the guys that he coached in the back end at the Jets, all the way through that whole process. Otis was out there. It was a good group. Victor Green, I believe. And he coached all those guys. I was able to watch him and maneuver when I was an inspiring young coach to go to the NFL. And to go from Hofstra to be able to get an internship with the Jets a little bit shortly after that, and then to move on to my career has been unbelievable. So, it's been full circle. Now he's in Tampa where I started, and we got a chance to go play against each other and do some really good things.
Raheem, to go back to the linebackers, Troy named NOC Defensive Player of the Week today. Curious as to how you've seen him grow, and then also just kind of what you've learned about him now that you've gotten to work with him in person versus maybe what you had thought of what he might be before you came here.
It's really funny. Like I told you guys, I think you think I was kidding when I came in and said I was really excited about some of these young players on this defense, and he was one of those guys. To watch him move around, with speed, to be highly energetic and to do some of the things, I think he just brought to fruition what we had saw probably before everybody else. And to him go out there and get the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, it was no shock to me. And it was certainly no shock to me to see him get the ball in his hands to be able to run that fast and score a touchdown, because that's what I've been watching on tape. I saw it before. Obviously, you can always nitpick and get things you can correct in people's game. And that's been the fun part, watching Barrett, Rude to get out there with those guys and absolutely help those guys become better linebackers. And I think we got a chance to see it firsthand last week with Troy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in 2022, that's when the Rams got Baker, and it was a Thursday night football game he had to prep for in like 48 hours.
It was unbelievable. We got Baker Mayfield. He came in. We had a Thursday night game. I believe it was the Raiders. He walked into the building. He got the game plan from Z-Rob. Z-Rob walked him through, told him the offense. He took all the things, this is like, that is like, here's what we're going to do, similar to what you've done in the past. We went to work and we're able to operate. We somehow got a 2-minute game plan in for him. He had a walkthrough. He had a light practice, and he went out there and he won a football game. And we all had a lot of fun. He breathed life into our organization, because that was the year we were going through a rough time then, losing our quarterback.
What you learned about him in that situation that you kind of can use to prepare this team now?
It was like, I know Baker is, right? But what I can do to use to prepare him is tell him exactly who he is. He's a tough guy that's going to go out there and compete at a very high level. And you got to know that going into all these games, right? We're talking about a guy that's been through the ups and downs of it all, right? Being a number 1 overall pick, really making Cleveland relevant, kind of becoming a castaway when he got hurt, when he played through an injury for a whole year with the surgery injury, and then having the ability to come back and find his legging back with us with the Rams till he go to the now Tampa Bay Buccaneers and becoming a division champion. So, like, for us going to play against him, a tough competitor that's ready to deal at all times and will not be fearful of anything, is something that you can tell you guys.
Short week this week for your guys. A lot of young guys on this team. What did this week kind of confirm in your mind about their resolve to get ready in kind of an adverse situation, 4 days, 3 days?
Our stage is fun, to be around. When you talk about what you want to do and how you want to prepare, they're all hands on deck. And that is like the coolest thing about the team. Hey, here's what we're going to do. Here's the plan. Man, love this plan. Coach, love this part. Hey, my body's sore. What do I do? Let's go prepare this way. Let's do these things and ready to go out there and play. And, like, they're just a fun group to work with, and they've been outstanding this week, and I'm fired up. Can't wait to go see them play.
Coach, you feel the energy around here? I mean, people are still talking about Georgia-Alabama game, the Braves in the playoffs. You guys with 2 home games in 5 days against division opponents. Do you guys feel the energy that's going on?
I tell you, you put that in a really cool perspective that I haven't thought about, because I'm in the mix, right? But, like, that is pretty cool. Like, the Georgia-Alabama game was exciting. Obviously, watching the Braves celebrate with that Atlanta helmet on was exciting. Obviously, getting ready to go play the amount of games that we played in prime time has been exciting. I think the fans are excited. I think everybody wants more. And, I just love the fact that everybody's craving it, because, like, that's how we feel every day. Like, you're talking about a bunch of guys just obsessed with what we do, and we love to go out there and play football. We love to go out there and coach football, and it's been absolutely outstanding.
Going back to Baker for a second, aside the fact that he's tough, what have you noticed about the way that he's played through 4 games so far?
He has been absolutely dynamic, getting completions, having the ability to get the ball down the field, having the ability to get out there and orchestrate the offense, whether it be tempo or whether it be not executing of the offense, because it's a very similar offense than what we know. Got a lot of familiar foes over there and friends. So to be able to go watch those guys be able to execute the offense at a high level has been fun.
I'll have to do this. Well, they did. So here I am. He put his jersey in my locker to start, and I said, I'm not your girlfriend. I'm not wearing your jersey to the press conference, but I'll wear something. So here I am. First time ever wearing Ohio State gear. But we have a mutual enemy in the U of M. So, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So we'll see it like that. But big game tomorrow night. We understand the opportunity we have at home against a good football team, division champs the last few years. Have a lot of respect for the players in that team, the success they've had, the scheme we're going against, the head coach. So great challenge for us, great opportunity for us, and looking forward to it. But it's been an interesting process always when you have to do the quick turnaround of trying to digest a new game plan in a short amount of time and be productive with the time. And there's still more prep and walkthroughs and mental reps to get here before kickoff tomorrow night. And, with that, we can take any questions you have.
Kurt, just, on a short week, what can you all do to get the timing and precision?
Yeah.
That's, kind of ongoing process for y'all to go, for the offense.
I thought it was beneficial to get out here today and run around and have a full speed practice and reps. yesterday was more of a jog through, and we're able to get a lot of plays run and talk through a lot of X's and O's. So 2 productive days here, allowed Monday to be kind of a quick recap of the game, and then allow the coaches to put the game plan together, and then we'll do more prep tonight and tomorrow during the day, and be ready to go tomorrow night.
Earlier today, Bijan said that this is his first short week. He's never experienced it before, but you've had several. So, what are the pros and cons for both teams for a short week?
Yeah, it was interesting talking to a few teammates who have not played on a short week, because I think I've done it, more times than I care to admit. But I think it's a good challenge. I think that you can still be ready, as long as you're physically able to go. I think it's a deal that it's the same for both teams, and you got to go, perform regardless.
What makes Todd Bowles' defenses so tough, and it seems like they're just so consistent year in, year out?
Yes, very multiple. You're going to see different fronts. You're going to see different coverages. You're going to see different pressures, and you're going to see good disguises. And it's going to be a lot to prepare for.
How have you done in your career against Bowles?
I guess I'd leave other people to decide. I don't know. I don't know the metrics, but played him when he was in New York with the Jets. Played him in Tampa. So, I'm sure it's a mixed bag. He's going to get you on some, and you're going to get him, and you just kind of go back and forth.
How do you characterize just kind of the state of this offense and where it's at? We're at the way more through the season so far.
Yeah, I think now 4 games in, you do have a sample size to work off of. I think we've ascended each week. We have improved, which is encouraging, but I think there's more to go get, and that's why I think there is a lot of excitement about Thursday night, because we see it as another opportunity to kind of continue to improve.
With kind of this sample size of 4 games, how have you seen, or what have you learned from watching Bijan Robinson and the influence that he particularly has on the way that defenses play off?
Talented player, great movement skills, catch the ball really well, versatile player, and we're just trying to put the ball in his hands and allow him to do what he does best, which is make plays and make people miss. And I don't think he or I have much preference on how he gets the football, but I think good things happen when he does.
Troy Anderson was named NOC Defensive Player of the Week today. What's your perspective of him, just having gone against him in practices and stuff?
Yeah, I thanked him for the touchdown last week multiple times, but he's a real deal. Smart player. He's fast. I think he's athletic and can really, when you think about linebacker, the different parts of playing that position, you feel like he can kind of do all of it. Can cover people well, can blitz well, has good instincts. So I think he's the real deal, and I'm glad he was able to get honored for his performance, because he's a guy who earned it.
What changes if Antoine Winfield's not back there for Tampa?
Well, I think they're going to view it as, next man up, and they've got good football players. So, I don't know how drastic of a change it is. And every week the game plan can be different, where you can't really answer that question until post game. But he's certainly a great football player for a reason, and but I'm sure they're still going to have their identity and how they play, and still kind of lean into that.
Storm and Ryan getting in there for a full game, how do you feel like they did?
They did very well. I thought Ryan snaps and calls and just being decisive, I thought he played really well, and Storm much the same way. So they did a great job.
Obviously no offensive touchdowns for you guys on Sunday. Go back and you watch the film. How can you get there? What's the thing that changes to get you guys to get over the line?
Yeah, it's not one thing. I know that penalties are tough. We score a touchdown and then you get called back. Times where we were moving the football and then we have a penalty and then we end up the drive stalls. So if we can stay ahead of the chain, stay in manageable down and distances, where you have a really good shot at converting or staying on the field, I think that, success begets success, because now you're getting more opportunities, you're getting more chances, and everything kind of lifts from there. So when we start, converting third downs and scoring touchdowns in the red zone and avoiding penalties and avoiding negative plays, it kind of leads to then being in position to have more success.
Obviously, we talk about Bijan Robinson so much, but Tyler Algier, his ability to get those yards after contact is very good.
Yes.
You noticed from Tyler.
Yes, what you just said, the ability to, turn a 1-yard gain into a 4-yard gain, or in the case of last week, a 4-yard gain into a 14-yard gain. That's usually the mark of a good player, is can they make the first guy miss? Can they turn a play that would have been a gain of 2 and turn it into a gain of 5? It's not, headline grabbing sometimes when a 2-yard run becomes a 5-yard run, but when you talk about what I just answered the previous question, which is staying ahead of the chains, giving yourself manageable down distances, that does that. And so it makes a meaningful difference for our offense.
You talked about having a big enough sample size for this offense to look at it, but for yourself, are you where you thought you would be, like week 4 going into week 5? I know you always want to.
Yeah, I think you're always going to want to be a little better, hold yourself to a high standard. So certainly feel like we can be better, and I think that's the challenge, and why you view Thursday night as a great opportunity is to kind of keep moving towards the direction you want to go.
Can you discuss how you plan to get Kyle Pitts more involved in the offensive efficiency?
Yeah, I think certain times the ball's going to find certain people more, less. You just kind of go where your reads take you, and sometimes it's the wrong read. In the case of throwing to Kyle the other day on the under route that Lattimore drove, I targeted him, but I say I go where my reads take me, but that was a poor read, and the ball should have gone to Ray. So it kind of is all over the map as to why you target someone. It can be intentional, it can be unintentional, but I think we want to spread it around, be multiple, and Kyle's certainly a big part of that.
You mentioned some of your teammates hadn't played on a short week. Is there anything that you learned through the recovery process that's helped you that maybe you passed on to them?
Try to get good sleep. I always take a nap before night games in the afternoon just to try to feel rested, and then I still need to prepare. And then those walkthroughs are not, sometimes when you slow down the tempo, the focus can wane, and so it's very important that the walkthroughs or the jog-throughs have a heightened focus, because that is our practice. And so that was probably my point of emphasis, is just, hey, let's be really dialed in on these reps, even if they're not full speed, because this is the only time we're going to get to rep this play before it might get called in the game.
And Levante David, how's he playing in the middle of their defense?
The same as he always has. He's consistent, and I've always felt one of the greatest measures of performance is consistency. Played against him in college. He was a teammate of mine in the Senior Bowl 13 years ago. He's the real deal. And I remember playing against him in my first year in the league, my 4th year in the league, and then on and on and on. And he's the same player now that I saw 7, 8, 9 years ago. And he'll be a challenge on Thursday night.
All right, Thursday night tonight. Jeez.
How about it? Short week for the Birds.
Short week.
Maybe we'll get an offensive touchdown tonight, Ellie. Didn't get one of those on Sunday, and they still found a way to win.
And then they still found a way to win.
How about that?
Here's hoping. Let's move from the Falcons to Ellie was wrong. We went over this yesterday. I swear up and down they're not going to fire Tanisha Wright. The Dream fired Tanisha Wright.
Mm-hmm.
We have some sound from General Manager Dan Padover explaining this decision that I did not see coming. Okay, let's hear from him.
First off, I want to start off by thanking Tanisha. She put a lot of hard work and dedication into this team and making us competitive again. And I know there's a bright future ahead of her in coaching, and we all just want to thank her and wish her nothing but the best.
Yeah, what changed between December 22 and now, in the time between deciding to extend her, which, obviously you guys, had a lot of, faith in the future of the program at the time. What changed between then and now?
Yeah, 2 years in sports is an eternity. And after each season, we do a comprehensive review of where we're at and where we're looking ahead. And we thought at this point a new voice and a new leader was the right thing to do.
In terms of a timeline, when did you arrive at this decision?
Yeah, like I said, after each season, we take a comprehensive review of where we're at and where we want to get to, and made sure that we were patient with it, but also when we knew it was time, we moved swiftly.
In terms of the factors that, go into making a decision like this, what are those factors? Who's involved in that process?
Yeah, I think there's a ton of factors. First and foremost, though, you want to make sure moving forward you think you're set up for success. And we thought at this time the right thing to do was to look for a new voice and go ahead and move forward.
I think, a lot of the fan base could easily look at injuries this year as a, big factor of coming up short. Where does that kind of figure into your decision-making process? How is that weighed as a factor for you in making this decision?
Yeah, I think injuries are a part of sport, unfortunately. And you have to take a look at a bunch of different factors, and most importantly, look what sets you up for the future the best.
Were players involved in making this decision?
Yeah, throughout the course of the year, you always take player feedback about everything. This decision was made between myself and our ownership group.
At least 4 teams in the league now looking for a new leader this offseason. Does that change your guys' timeline, trajectory in terms of, looking for a new leader, in terms of just maybe how competitive the offseason market will be?
Yeah, we're really focused on the dream, and we're excited to get this search underway and really believe we're going to find the right leader and to move this team forward.
What does the timeline look like for a new coaching hire with you right now?
Yeah, we're just focused on getting this process started and being really thorough and doing whatever it takes to find the right person.
Who will be involved in this search process?
Yeah, I'll obviously lead it. I'll work closely with our ownership group and move as fast as we can, but we're also going to be patient.
What are you looking for in the next head coach of the dream? What have maybe you learned from the past 3 years with Tanisha that has maybe, informed your decision-making process about who you are looking for in the next head coach of the dream?
Yeah, I think right now we're just looking forward as to what this team needs. We're really excited about our young core, and we want to find a coach that's going to really move us forward and take the next steps for this basketball team.
Does this person need previous head coaching experience? Are there any hard and fast requirements that you're looking for in terms of the next leader of the team?
Yeah, we're going to be very, very open about what we're looking at. We're going to look at a wide array of candidates. Nothing is going to be a set criteria. We want to.
All right, we will see where the dream go from here.
Yeah, going to be interesting, especially with as many as 4 head coaching vacancies in the WNBA this winter, Ellie. Yeah. I mean, what a year to have a head coach vacancy, right? I mean, it's going to be a very competitive search. Yep.
Tanisha Wright could end up going elsewhere.
She absolutely could, and you know what? I think she will. I think there is a place for her, whether it be head coach or not, somewhere in the WNBA. She's too experienced, too good of a coach to not land somewhere else. Look, I mean, as you heard Dan Padover explain there, it was time. And this did feel like a make or break year for Tanisha Wright and the Dream. They took a step back in terms of a few less wins than the year prior. Another first-round exit in the playoffs. You can see why it happened.
You can see why. I did not think it was going to.
It's a bummer.
But, yes, you can see why it happened.
Here we are.
Moving on to
Ellie,
happier news, at least for this guy.
Ellie, you put this in the rundown, all right? This was not my doing.
We do need to talk about it. The San Diego Padres correspondent, Connor Hines. San Diego Padres bounced the Atlanta Braves out of the playoffs after they pounced on Max Fried in the second inning for 5 runs, and that was all they needed in Game 2.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a Braves playoff run with a little last-minute push, right?
No.
We saw the Braves rally late there. Made it interesting with the 2-run homer from Money Mike there. But, look, I mean, you look back on this season and everything that happened for the Braves. All the injuries.
They're lucky they got this far.
all the injuries they dealt with, really, week after week, what it felt like. Just pretty miraculous to even be in the playoffs at all. And I think they know that. I think the fan base knows it. I think there's a good part of the Braves fan base that's kind of happy it's over in a way.
Definitely.
Just because it kind of felt like this.
It felt like it wasn't going to be the year.
Wounded dog, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of like limping for a little while. And to even get into the tournament and
get into the playoffs and
get into the playoffs, and even when it came down to that last day, that doubleheader against the Mets, and then you had to fly all across the country. I mean, talk about things being stacked against you, right? So good on the Braves, and now the offseason comes in. Really interesting offseason for Atlanta, I think, Ellie, just in terms of all the questions that need to be answered. Will Max Fried be a Brave? Will Charlie Morton retire? Who's going to be available?
If this is Max Fried's last start as a Brave, that has to be rough because the man got slammed.
Now I will say
on his left hip, and you can't. I'm not going to blame Tatis for this. You can't exactly control where the baseball goes after you hit it.
Right.
So, really unfortunate.
Yeah.
If this is his last start.
I will say, I think Braves fans will remember Max Fried's last start more fondly. His last start at Truist Park.
Yes.
On that Friday night against, that would have been the Mets, correct? Man, he was lights out that night.
Yeah.
So, what a run it's been if he's no longer a Brave after this season. I think a lot of Atlanta fans hope he stays a Brave because he's Max Fried. He's that guy.
Was a part of the World Series team. So
this is true.
Anyway, the San Diego Padres now go on to the NLDS to face the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Tall order.
Tall order, definitely.
Yep. We'll see.
And we will see where they go. Now we have to talk about the rest of the wild card round. It's all set except for Mets and Brewers.
Mets and Brewers tonight.
Tonight, Jose Quintana on the bump for the Mets. Tobias Myers on the bump for the Brewers.
Yep.
Who you got?
I think Milwaukee pulls it out. Milwaukee is slight favorite at home. I give the home team the edge in these winner-take-all games, and this is the only winner-take-all game that we've seen in this playoffs so far. In fact, the Braves were the only road team to not win their wild card series. So that's a little interesting wrinkle. But I do think when the lights are the brightest in prime time, win or go home, you got to give the edge to Milwaukee in this instance. Especially with who's on the bump.
Yes, Tobias Myers has been the ace of that staff.
I think Milwaukee's
has been a
gonna
breakout rookie season. Here's the thing. Milwaukee is baseball's Gonzaga. They can run through the regular season all they want, win the division, go all the way. They hit the postseason and they fall flat on their face.
They're a different team, right?
I never trust Gonzaga in March Madness. I never trust the Brewers in the postseason.
But for the purposes of tonight,
I think it's the Mets.
Really?
I think.
Okay.
I think they're gonna Gonzaga this. They're gonna just fall on their face.
All right. We'll see. All
right. Send us on what's on your mind.
Something that has to do with tonight's game over at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, not relating to the football stuff, but I thought it was really cool today how Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield have each pledged $50,000 to relief efforts. Let me get the name of the Team Rubicon is what it is, a humanitarian organization helping to serve the communities that have really been most affected by Hurricane Helene. I thought that was really cool on the night of a game with so much riding on the NFC South, so much riding on the division, that Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins, two quarterbacks for these two teams going at it, kind of collaborated in that way for a cause. So I thought that was really cool, and going to put all that aside and play it out on the field tonight.
As for what's on my mind, I am shopping for a second NBA team because apparently Jerry Reinsdorf wants me to hate the Bulls by signing Joshua Primo. I won't go into it, but yeah.
Chicago sports fan.
He apparently just wants me to hate the team.
Some will do that, Ellie. It's called being a sports fan.
Before I get into the rant, we are running out of time. For Connor Hines, I'm Ellie Parker. This has been ANF Plus Sports Tonight. Go watch some sports.